Alright. Holy boys. That was an impressive degen push. Yeah, I definitely thought Ben would own our ass. But you know, we held on for dear life, so that was good. I'm still like so dehydrated. Holy, I'm just gonna, if you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna sit here drinking water for like the next 6 hours. I lost like 2 kilos worth of water weight just because I didn't drink enough. I had such a bad headache. Are you ready for season 1 run? No. We need to do nightmare dungeons because I'm pretty sure they will eventually stop the resetting of dungeons. So we definitely should learn how to do nightmare sigils properly, like efficiently. We can't search and sort for aspects. Yeah, I mean, you guys don't need to see another list from a streamer about things they need to fix. Honestly, like I've watched most of the videos from other content creators, and I think everyone's complaints about the game, like the minor details, have already been pushed to the devs, and I think it's just a matter of waiting through, like waiting for things to happen. This is actually really funny, but my character doesn't actually work anymore.
Mine now.
It's actually really funny. You probably noticed this in the beta if you played, but did you ever notice that you felt weaker when you leveled up? Because you didn't gain enough power from leveling up. Like maybe you leveled up and you got a little bit more life, but you got maybe your skill point was not very strong. Like maybe your passive that you got was like 1% chance for something to happen. Like it wasn't that good. And you actually felt like you lost power. And maybe you did like 5 level ups and you actually, let's say your next 5 levels just went very good. And so you lost a lot of power, right? Because obviously the mobs level up and so as do you. Well, when you hit level 50, the only thing you get from leveling up is not a passive point, which is actually still quite good. It's a paragon, right? Paragon points. And obviously access to high level gear. But this is where it gets really, this is what you gotta understand about Diablo 4 chat. At level 70, you drop the highest level gear in the game. So at level 70, you could theoretically have best in slot perfect gear. You won't, but theoretically, right? And so what happened to us in the push is we hit level 70, we got a bunch of like high item level gear. Like you see, like I got 750 gear, yada. You get tier 1 rolls at 725. And so I got as best gear as I could get at level 70. And then we started to push for 100. And we didn't really focus on gear because we wanted to go for first 100, right? And so because I went from level 70 or so, 75 to 100 without a single gear upgrade. And again, remember, the gear doesn't level up with you. And so I already had like the highest tier rolls. I just didn't have good enough itemization. But because I haven't like upgraded the item power, because there is no better item power, and because the only thing I get is Paragon, and remember Paragon got nerfed quite substantially, and because we weren't doing nightmare sigils, we weren't leveling up glyphs. So you combined all these factors, and it means that my character from level 75 to 100 lost so much power that despite the fact that I'm technically over leveled, because the level scaling stops at 95, I've actually become completely useless. Like my character just struggles super hard now to do basic content. So I think around level 88, I stopped doing damage. If you're familiar with Diablo 3, imagine going up 10 GRs with no gear upgrades, but you can't go back. And so that's what's happened to my character. I literally can't go back. So I do like 5 times less damage than I'm supposed to do. Bricked? Yeah, so this character's useless now. You won't have this problem because we went for first 100. Worth, by the way, we actually won. I'm super happy about that. But yeah, this character is officially retired now. Is the game worth buying, by the way? Haven't been able to watch because of work. Well, now there's no more early access, right? Does that basically mean the game just became like $20 cheaper? Well, with the game being $20 cheaper because you don't care about early access anymore because there's not early access because the early access ended. I mean, I would say so. I mean, I don't think for a second you're gonna have a bad time playing through the game. And the fact that, and not caring about, at this point you don't care about early access because it's over. I tried it out today, but it's not for me. Can't help but compare it all the time, even if that's unfair. I mean, as somebody who plays like it depends what ARPGs you like, of course, but as somebody who's played Last Epoch and D2, D3, obviously Path of Exile, Compared to those games, feels fine to me. But to be fair though, it's better if you're comparing it to D3 than PoE. If you enjoyed D3, this just seems like an upgrade to me. You know, just the fact that it's new D3, like it's like, and the aesthetic is way better, and there's like not the crazy scaling because it's like a brand new game. Because I know people said the scaling is crazy, but they actually cut it down pretty hard. If you're wondering about the billions of damage you might have heard, well, that got basically nuked, so you don't have to worry about that. Most people seem to be doing millions of damage at the end game, not billions. And that's with like very strong builds. Like if you enjoy the aesthetic of this game, I think this is like pretty top tier. They built a really good world, I feel. It does have some issues at endgame, but you know, you'll still get a lot of content out of it for sure. If like I have played Path of Exile for like, unironically, it's about, at least 17,000 hours, which is that's sad. But that, I mean, how can a game not be 10 out of 10 perfection at that point? Because to me it is. I mean, at that point, for streamers this argument is different. I put in 10,000 of those hours before streaming. Did you know that? I made $0 from Path of Exile for 10,000 of those hours. At least 10,000 of those hours. So it's the time to drop Shakos. I actually had a dream I dropped a grandfather. I'm already having dreams about Diablo. Like, not even memeing. I dreamt I got it on a Sork and I was sad I couldn't give it to Khan. Not gonna lie, with some of the design choices they made, is it tough to say for most of these days? This is probably the first ARPG they played. No, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they were just a little too inspired by D2. Because this is definitely a D2 stash, if you know. This is a Diablo 2 stash. I mean that in the worst possible way, though.
One more new toy.
No item filter? I'm okay with no item filter, to be honest with you. I don't think it's such a bad thing to have to pick up gear and look at it. It's not like you're... The one thing I would say, it would be nice to hide things. Like, it would be nice to hide sacred gear, because sacred gear is literally useless. Like, you can filter it with your brain, but it'd be nicer to just filter it manually so you never accidentally pick it up. So an item filter... True. It's just, when I think item filter, I think the ability to literally show perfect gear only. I think that would actually be a negative thing for Diablo, because you would essentially be hiding almost everything until you got literal abyss. I just don't want to see blue and whites. I agreed, right? That's what I'm saying.
Mine now.
That's what I'm saying. So what are your thoughts on the game so far? Let's see. I actually went through Mr. Llama's rating and don't think I line up one-to-one with his take so far. But his rating is pretty fair. If Llama, I think, gave it like a 6, I would give it more like a 7 or an 8. But again, I think ratings are kind of somewhat meaningless, because ultimately what you choose to spend your time on is what's important, and I would choose to spend my time with this game for sure, 100%. I would definitely say this is worth your time to play. But yeah, obviously if you had a opportunity to play the game in the beta and you didn't like it, I will say this: if you didn't like the beta, the rest of the game is essentially that. Like that core idea of the beta is what you get. They were pretty honest with the Act 1. A lot of people were saying that maybe the rest of the game won't be as good, or maybe the rest of the game... Like, people were theorizing if the game is different from the beta. The beta is essentially the game. Like, if you didn't like the beta, if you thought the beta was XYZ, and you didn't like that, then you probably won't enjoy the rest of the game. That being said, if you played the beta, you liked it, and you were wondering, is the rest of the game going to be like that? Yeah. You get to explore through the game. You have different dungeons, different bosses, different mob types. You know, there's resources for elixirs, blah, 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 blah. There is like a little bit of a resource demand, so you do have to do a little bit of hunting, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Resource hunting is not required. It's just nice to do, because you do get access to some pretty potent elixirs. The most important one for hardcore is the cheat death elixir. That is a whole nother topic, which I can talk about later. I think I could convince you why it's not necessarily the worst idea. Has still been one of the top 100. We were actually the first, if you can believe it. Our team, me, Ziz, Khan, and Noogie, with Khan obviously getting the overall rank 1, were the first team to get level 100 in hardcore, which is so cool. Apparently there's a bit of drama though, but you know, Will you use exploits? Yeah, apparently people think we cheated. So I personally think they cooked, but you know, that's fine. I personally believe that people just wanted Woody to win, and people are a bit salty about that. So that's how I like to see it. I noticed a shift in Woody Joe's chat. They were saying, go Woody Joe, first rank 1. Then we won, and they're like, they don't count. Go, first rank 1 solo. So they, I did notice a bit of a shift in the narrative. You know, I think people just really wanted Woody Joe to win. So, you know, it's fine. It's fine. SSF is cooler than group play. Oh, 100%. But the race was to rank 1. I don't think it's fair you played more than me, so it doesn't count. Yeah, I mean, how do I say this? People genuinely think cheating, grouping up is cheating after we won. So it's pretty crazy to me. Especially because this is probably the most MMO-like RPG I've played other than Lost Ark. It's entirely because people wanted Widijo to win. I mean, Widijo got the first solo, so I mean... Hopefully now that it's been done, people will chill out a little bit. Widijo himself was super cool about it, by the way. He's a cool dude. He was super cool about it. Like, he didn't feed into any of his chat. His chat did not like us. His chat hates us. But Widijo himself is super cool about it. Super cool about it. It was a little disappointing to see his chat, like, literally shit on us. Like, literally say, they said grouping equals shit. I read some crazy shit in his chat, but that's fine. Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to take his chat's take, then Widijo didn't get first solo either, because he played the press release, right? But I don't agree with that take. I even was reading the Reddit threads a little bit. Yeah, I'm a dumbass, don't, you know, it is what it is. But like, technically, this is the way the narrative is right now. It doesn't count if you played in a group, if you did dungeon spamming, if you played the press release, if you played softcore, if you... basically it only counts if you literally... basically El Kaiser won. Basically. Because he's the only one that has played solo, hardcore, no press release, no grouping. Alk got build enabling drops, so that's... Actually, yeah, Al Kaiser used the gloves. He used the gloves. Also, it doesn't count if you played early. It only counts if you didn't play early. If you played with anything that was brokenly overpowered, so if you played with the gore gloves, whatever, if you played in a group, if you played the press release, if you played softcore, if you played early, none of that counts. So Al Kaiser didn't win either. So only somebody that played today onwards can win. They have to play hardcore. They can't play with anything that's overpowered, right? Because the gloves were overpowered. So you can't... The goalposts are crazy moving at the fastest pace. It's crazy to me. Ultimately, I personally believe it ultimately comes down to people really like Widijo and they wanted him to win. And because he didn't get rank 1, he got rank 1 solo, people are a little bit upset at us. Because there was no drama when Rob got first 100 in softcore, right? And so it ultimately comes down to they felt like we were contesting or stealing a little bit of his thunder. And so people are shitting on us because of that. But Widijo himself didn't feed into it. He's a chill dude. He, you know. So it's fine. People want to shit on us a little bit. It's fine. Play the game, you short fuck. Okay, I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game, chat. I'm playing the game. All right.
Ah, so the old man's finally decided to bite back.
Knowing him, he didn't mention coin, did he? If he wants his weapon, you will need to pay.